Hello and welcome back to another video and another little session on the process of division and trying to find remainders. So we already know by now that, say, if I give you such a problem and I say tell me the remainder, the process is fairly straightforward. Think of this 9 raised to 72 as 9 into 9 into 9, a lot of 9s, all of them being divided by 8. Now think of individual division of each 9, and each 9 will give you a remainder of 1. So you have 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, a lot of number of times. How many times? 72 times. So overall your remainder would become 1 raised to 72 and your answer would be 1. Why is this happening? What is the logic behind it? That we have covered in quite a detail in the previous session, right? So this is the basic idea. This is where we are starting off from. Now we'll try and see what happens when the remainder is not 1, how to deal with such a situation, and try and find more patterns and cycles involved if there are any, right? So this is our starting point, and you should be able to understand why my remainder is overall 1 in this process. The idea is fairly straightforward, can be repeated or revised in 10-15 minutes. So if you feel like doing it, please go through the previous video. But this is our starting point of the process. So now let's try and play with a few more numbers and step by step see complications, insights. The more we do these numbers, the more situations will come and the more we learn from them. But after trying out 5 to 10 problems, we'll know what are the basic patterns involved. So let's get started. This question was asked, 9 raised to a is divided by 7, and the question was what is the number of possible remainders, not what is the remainder, because obviously as a takes different values, maybe you will get different remainders. So it wasn't what is the remainder, but how many different remainders are possible. Is it 1, 2, 5, 10, infinite numbers, and so on and so forth. So one hint should be, even without looking at 9 raised to a, when we are thinking of dividing by 7, my remainders could be 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up to 6, right? We can also again start thinking of bigger remainders, but you will keep removing 7 from them. So the moment you look at 7, the total possible remainders were 7, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that should be the starting point. So the answer obviously cannot be 56, 100 or infinity, right? Even though it might look like it, because you will say anything is possible because of the a, but it is not. So at the outset itself, your answer was fairly limited. Secondly, what happens is the moment we go into such a just a deviation from the standard question is what is a remainder. So a lot of people learn shortcuts and methods to deal with that. But the moment the question language changes, the processes start failing. So how to deal with that situation? So once again, we deal with 9 raised to a, and a becomes an abstraction. So make your life easy and try and understand it. 9 raised to 1, a I am taking as 1. Now this is nothing but 9. 9 divided by 7, I am not doing the whole process over and over again. We are now slightly older in age, so we should be able to do this directly. 9 divided by 7, remove 7, the remainder would be 2. So if 9 raised to 1, the remainder is 2. But what if I change the situation? So take it down, a 1, remainder equal to 2. If I make it 9 square, and even this should not be too difficult, no extra logic should be needed. 9 into 9 is 81. 81 by 7, the remainder would be 4. Try it out for yourself. Or this is what we have learned in the previous session, that the easy way of doing this would be, think of individual remainders. This 9 has a remainder of 2, as we just found out. This 9 will also give you a remainder of 2, right? So your overall remainder, this is what we learned in the previous video, and we are repeating the idea here. Whatever is happening to the dividends is happening to the remainders. So my overall remainder would become 2 into 2, my remainder would be 4. When? That means when a is equal to 2, remainder is equal to 4, right? So I already see that I can get a remainder as 2 or I can get a remainder as 4 as I change the power. Let's see and change it again. Let's make it 9 cube. What does that mean? This gives you again 9 cube. I can again calculate because it's still in the realm of being able to calculate. But as the number gets bigger, we will not be able to calculate. So let's start using our logic. Think of individual remainders. So even if you have not done the basic session, you can grasp the idea over and over again here. The remainder would be 2 again, and this remainder would also be 2, right? 2 into 2 into 2, your remainder would be 8. What did we learn? Remainder can't be 8. Remainder means left over after cycles of 7 are removed. From this 8, I can remove one more 7. So my remainder is overall 1. To reduce my work, just in this, at least in this context, I just saw that the remainder for these two was 4. And this extra 9 is 2, right? So I could have taken that mini step here, and 4 into 2, the remainder is 8. Again, the remainder is bigger than the divisor. That means take this remainder and divide it again by 7, and you get the remainder as 1. Again, this part of the logic also, why the remainder can't be bigger than the divisor, has been covered in the previous session. So if not comfortable, take a look at that. So I get the remainder as 1 when a is equal to 3. And remember what is it? You are saying when 9 raised to 1, the remainder was 2. When it was 9 square, the remainder was 4. When it was 9 cube, the remainder is 1. Now, obviously, let's go one more step ahead, a little more patience, and think of 4 9s. This will be difficult to calculate and cumbersome, so best to use our method. Remainder 2, let me put a circle to mark the remainder. Remainder 2, remainder 2, remainder 2. 2 into 2, 4, 4 2s are 8, 8 2s are 16, remainder 16. Remainder is bigger than the divisor, divided again. 16 by 7, remainder would be 2. So your overall remainder after 9 raised to 4 is 2. So I see I'm back to 2 again. And if you go for 9 raised to 5, you will see once again 4 will come and again 1 will come. So you are getting 3 possible remainders, which are 2, 4 or 1 depending on the power. Once again, even this work could have been reduced a little bit. How? Because I already figured out that once we went for 9 cube, my remainder was 1. So this is going to give you a remainder of 1. So the next step, that means when another 9, and you know this 9 is carrying a remainder of 2, so the next step is simply take the old remainder and multiply it by 2 again, so you will get 2. Now extend the process, multiply this 2 again, you will get 4. Again multiply this by 2, you will get 8, which means a remainder of 1. So you're back at 1, and then again the next step will be 2. So you don't need to keep multiplying it, but you will need to do it once to grasp the cycle involved for different cases and different scenarios. And once you grasp the cycle, the question in this case was how many possible remainders? The answer is very, very easy. 3 possible remainders. So 3 possible remainders, and the remainders are 2, 4 or 1, and the cycle will keep repeating. So that was one question. Or if the question was even more specific, and the question was, say 9 raised to 63, and let me change it, 9 raised to 67. 9 raised to 67 is divided by 7. What is the remainder going to be? So then now you come back to your cyclicity concept, which we have done ample number of times previously. So you have a cycle of 2, 4, 1, 2, 4, 1. So think of the problem as you have 3 fingers, and I say you keep counting, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This finger means getting a remainder of 2. This finger means getting a remainder of 4. This finger means getting a remainder of 1. Now I say take your 3 fingers and count up to 67. Where will 67 land? One way is to obviously count it physically, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Or see that after 3 there is a cycle repeating. That means take this 67, try and divide this by 3 and see what happens. So you get the quotient as 22, 3 22s are 66, and the remainder is 1. This 322 is 66 means what? There are 22 cycles, 1, 2, 3, one cycle, 1, 2, 3, another cycle, 1, 2, 3, another cycle. How many such cycles? 22 cycles. So if this was 66, you will be at the third finger, but it is 67, which means remainder is 1. That means 22 cycles are complete and first step of the next cycle is going on. So for 9 raised to 67, my remainder would be 2. This is extra explanation. If you have done the chapter on cyclicality, you can apply that idea very quickly here. These are the only steps. This is step number 1, 2, 3. If you go to step number 4, you come back to step number 1. So even if you have not done it, it's an interesting logical question for you. What will be the number? Where will you land if you remainder 4 is this, remainder 5 is this, remainder 6 is this, and the next step again, remainder 7 is this, remainder 8 is this, remainder 9 is this. Where will 67 land? Try it out physically once, you will understand this logic very quickly. So we'll cover this logic a couple of more times, but try and understand that there was a cycle of 3 involved, and I know the remainder was going to be one of these 3. And which one? I figured out where in the cycle am I. Thinking of it as fingers and trying to figure out a logic is a good idea, right? So take this challenge for yourself. Take your 4 fingers, let's say, and I say count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That means after 4 you come back and count the next number on the first finger itself, right? 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, etc. Keep counting. Now I ask you, where will 115 land? So try and figure that out for yourself and you will understand this logic fairly quickly.